the second part of bleeding is a question we got. She saw this stated on Facebook somewhere. So someone posted that if you get bleeding or more than just superficial pinprick bleeding, then you are going too deep, you're overworking the skin, and you need to go back to training. False, right? So someone fairly new in the industry saw this comment and she reached out to us and wanted to know if this was true. And of course, we're like, absolutely not true. That's misinformation. And I wanted to talk about that today. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where that came from, where that thought process came from. I don't know why.
I think it's with people microbleeding.
That could be.
I think it's with microbladers because, I mean, yeah, you want to see a little bit of blood, but you don't want to see a lot.
With microblading.
Yeah, with microblading.
Right.
But with us, there could be blood all over the place.
But
that's
this
fine.
was a general statement, and I'm wondering if microbladers that cross over into machine work, because there's a ton of them now, crossing over to machine work, if they're carrying that same philosophy about bleeding into machine work.
And that's probably why so many microblade artists are having problems with their retention. Right. So once they go to the other one, go to us, go to a powder brow or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, go to machine. And there is a trend in the industry right now, of promoting no bleeding, pinprick bleeding, tattooing. Superficially is the word I see.
Doesn't feel
shallow.
like anything.
Yeah, shallow. I've seen people, big trainers, posting, my client can fall asleep during a lip procedure. Are you out of your freaking mind?
I've had one client fall asleep on a lip procedure, and I was
Did she come in like on Xanax or something?
I honestly think she was on some stuff.
Yeah.
But like I've only had one client fall asleep on a lip, and that was after all the numbing and everything.
Yeah.
Secondary everything.
I don't know. It's like, yeah, or they'll make these claims that their clients feel nothing. And I just don't buy that.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't sound realistic to me.
Anything the first pass. I don't know what you're doing, but I don't think it's right.
Yeah, it just not that you can't get clients here and there that are super comfortable.
Yeah.
And they feel very little discomfort.
Well, I mean, someone like me, I have a very high pain tolerance, and I still feel that. I mean, it's not horrible. It's more annoying than anything, but it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to die from it.
No, you're not going to. No, it's not that bad. And for some people are super sensitive and have very low pain tolerance, and they're going to feel more. Mm-hmm. There's some people that don't anesthetize well.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they just don't anesthetize even with their dentist. And so you have that as well. So there's people going to feel, they're going to be super comfortable. Discomfort levels are going to be very low. They're going to do very, very well. Then you have people on the flip side don't anesthetize well. They're hypersensitive to pain, and it's going to really hurt them. And then everything in between. But thinking, I just don't want newbies to think, and this is for machine work.
Yes.
Because I know microblading's different, but for machine work, I don't want you to buy into the myth that if you see more than pinprick bleeding, you're doing something wrong. You're going too deep. You're overworking the skin, and you need to go back to school, go back to training, because that is fault. I have tattooed over 20,000 procedures. I stopped counting about 5 years ago. And that's just PMU. That's not body tattooing.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of body tattooing as well. And, if you're going proper depth,
some people are going to bleed.
Some people bleed. They just do. Some people bleed moderately. Some people bleed a lot. And yes, you do get some people that don't bleed that much at all. So it just all really depends on the client.
Their skin
and,
their ethnicity.
Yeah. I mean, things like that. I mean, for sure. And so, because that could be discouraging for someone out there, and they're, and they're doing clients and they're getting bleeding, and then they see a statement like that could be really discouraging, you know, and they could think they're doing something wrong and they're hurting skin and it scares them. And
well, especially if they're going so shallow that you're barely seeing a pinprick of blood. What's the longevity of that? How long is that going to last?
It's not going to last.
Exactly.
And I guarantee you, Michonne, if you ask 100 clients, especially when it comes to eyeliner and lips, do you want to go back once a year or once, you know, and have that refresh? Or are you going to be happier going every 3 to 5 years? They're going to say
always the 3 to 5 years.
The 3 to 5 years. That's exactly right.
You don't want to come back every year.
No client wants to go back every 10 months, every year. They just do not, especially with eyeliner and lips. And I do think that applies to eyebrows. Here at Girlz Inc., our work, the way we work, our techniques, going proper depth, which is that upper dermal layer, our clients get 2 to 4 years on average out of their eyebrows. 2 years is kind of more the minimum. We see longer than that a lot of times.
I had an ombre come back. She's a client of mine from Germany, and she comes back every 2-3 years to get them touched up. And she came back, and I was just in awe of what I saw. I was like, you didn't even have a touch up and they still look really good.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're saturating the skin enough with pigment and you're going proper depth. And there's a real big disadvantage to the client tattooing someone that often in the same area, and that's scar tissue.
Yeah, scar tissue, and it's harder to get more pigment in there
That's
when you
right.
have so much scar tissue there.
That's exactly right. And you know, it needs to be about the client. You know, it needs to be about the client, you know.
I always talk to my client about that. I'm like, I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to help you. I'm here for, you know, for you to get longevity out of things.
Yeah.
I don't want you to come back every 6 months or every year because I want the money. I want you to last because that's what my name means.
Yeah. And I think there are some people that their work is only lasting a year or so because they're not going proper depth and they're not saturating enough. And then there's another set of people that they want them coming back that often because they want that refresh money. And I've seen them actually say that. I had someone ask me on a Facebook post 2 or 3 years ago, then how do you expect us to make money if our eyebrows are lasting 3 or 4 years? And my answer was very simple. It was, Girlz Inc. has developed the reputation in Vegas that our eyebrows last. They do not turn color and they last a reasonable amount of time. And that's what the client wants. How many clients have we had in here, Michonne? Hundreds and hundreds that are sick and tired, have to go back every once a year.
That's where
they don't want to do that
my
anymore.
Clients, because they've been to other artists and they're like, I go in and they just can't get the pigment in, or it just doesn't last, or I've done this so many times and it just never stays. And,
right.
You know, we're known for our packing skills, and I'm like, if I can't get it in, nobody's getting it in.
That's right. And I think people think because we're able to pack it in, our eyebrows look like stickers, you know, and they look harsh.
When they're first leaving, yeah.
Yeah, freshly done, they look like stickers, and they can look
scary.
They can look a little scary and too packed. By healed, they are stunning.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. And I think it's the flip side with the superficial work and, you know, and some of the ombres, not all of them, of course, but, you know, they look better fresh and they don't look as good healed. And clients want the opposite. You know, they're okay with dealing with an eyebrow that looks harsh and kind of solid for a week. They don't love it, but they deal with it because that healed version is so dang beautiful. And we don't do a lot of touch-up work, and it lasts, you know, 2 to 3 to 4 years. And that's I always say a reasonable amount of time. I don't want my work lasting too long, you know, because the face changes. And I think, but I know anything that sits in skin long enough, it will start to ash out. It will start to change a little bit. And that's not a bad thing. We don't see extreme changes with LI pigments, but just like industrial car paint, I mean, even that can, fade if it, sits out in the sun or whatnot.
Rusts.
Yeah. But we're living, breathing organisms,
Yeah.
medicines, lifestyles, health. I mean, anything that sits in our skin long enough, there's the chance that it could start to go a little ashy or start to turn towards the color of the undertone of that person.
Well, you also have to take into account, having an aesthetic background, your skin changes drastically about every 5 years. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that could change how your pigment's in there too.
Oh, absolutely. And people don't, I think that some people just, really don't understand that. So although I want my brows to last a reasonable amount of time because that's what is best for the client and it's best for our reputation here in Vegas. I mean, people come from Arizona, California, Utah, just because they want their brows to last. They're so tired of their brows not lasting. And they're way more sick and tired of their eyeliner and lips not lasting because that shit hurts.
Yeah.
Eyeliner's not fun, and if you're a client listening to this, I mean, it's not fun, but it's so worth to wake up with your eyeliner.
Worth it.
Yeah.
If you a little uncomfortable, I mean, like me, I don't like people touching my eyes. I'm definitely taking a Xanax.
Yeah, I know. And some people do. They'll ask me, can I get a Xanax or something, or a Valium or, something from my doctor. And I always tell them, yes, have that discussion with your doctor and arrange a driver, arrange a driver. And usually I find the people that don't do well with eyeliner are people, I was just talking to my client yesterday about this, people that have, they're maybe type A, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe they have a little ADD and, they're just super hyper and type A and they talk fast and move fast and think fast. That they have a hard time chilling. Mm-hmm. That type of personality seems to struggle more with eyeliner than people that are like, is it type B personality or, can like kind of chill out. They're not so high strung, I guess.
Mm-hmm. They're not always have to be in control of everything.
Yeah. And so I think your personality type also dictates how you're going to get through an eyeliner procedure.
I think eyeliner, again, also, I think it's more the anxiety of it, that needle being so close to your eye
for sure.
than the pain. Because I ask a lot of my clients, I'm like, is it painful? They're like, well, yeah, but it's not, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it's more or less, I feel like you're going to tattoo my eyeball.
Yeah.
And I say, yeah, it feels like that. But you know what? I'm nowhere near anything important.
Yeah, exactly. But I know, I always tell my clients, and I know what you feel. I get my eyeliners done every 5 years, and you're exactly right. You feel that needle is going to go through the slit of your eye and get you. It's just that sensation. And of course, it's not with a good artist. It's never, happened, with us. I've never even heard of it happening, to be quite honest with you. I've never heard of it happening.
I've heard of some shit.
Yeah, but not of a needle poking an eyeball.
No,
I've never heard of that.
The worst thing I've ever heard of is someone dropping their machine on a client's face.
Yes.
And it marked them.
And it made a dot.
Yeah.
I've heard of that. But eyeliner is safe, especially if you're going with somebody skilled and, really good at it.